Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, pupils, students all over the world. This is Uncle Jew. And based on popular demand, I discovered in my section in my website, I discovered that some students, basically from Africa, does not know or do not know the difference between two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional shapes, especially their units and what to solve them. So we don't know whether we look for the perimeter of a three-dimensional shape, or we look for the area of a three-dimensional shape, or we look for the volume of a two-dimensional shape. So there are misconceptions in all these facts. So first of all, define a two-dimensional shape. Now the question is, what is two-dimensional shapes? So we'll give examples of them. So I would like to state that two-dimensional shapes are shapes that have only two dimensions. They have, that's full stop here, they have only length and width. So they have length and width. Now look at it this way, assuming you are looking at your paper or you are looking at your book. The diagram or any shape you draw in a book that does not show depth is considered two-dimensional shape. Look at this board. This is a two-dimensional shape. It has length, it has width or breadth. So this is known as two-dimensional shapes. A two-dimensional shape. All right. So it has length and width. So examples, e.g., we have circle, square. A square is a two-dimensional shape. Rectangle, then triangle. We say have others, but we'll be looking at this. We say have other two-dimensional shapes, but we'll be looking at this. Now, if you want to solve their values, their quantities, so the concept we will use is perimeter. Perimeter. So we'll start by defining it. What is a perimeter? A perimeter is the distance around a given shape. The distance round a given shape. How do we know distance? Now, if you draw a line, a dot, or when we have two objects, the space between the two objects when you travel from one object to the other one is called a distance. The distance between the first object and the second object. The space there, if you travel from the first object to the second object, that's the distance. Now, we'll be looking at a shape. Let's say we look at a rectangle. A rectangular shape. So we have this. It's called a rectangle. This is called what? A rectangle. We're not discussing the properties now. Later we'll discuss the property of a rectangle. Well, you will notice from this diagram I just drew that we have two dimensions. Two dimensions. We have the length and we have the breadth. We have two dimensions. We have the length and we have the breadth. The length is the longest part of a rectangle. The length is the longest part of a rectangle, while the breadth is the short part. You see, the two sides are opposite. Length is opposite themselves. The length, they are opposite. Then the breadth are also opposite. Now, if you want to discuss the perimeter of this two-dimensional shape, because I told you initially that perimeters, or let me say it now because I can't remember saying that. Let me say it now. Perimeters discusses two-dimensional shapes and not three-dimensional shapes. You cannot use perimeter to discuss three-dimensional shapes. So it always addresses two-dimensional shape. Now, if you are asked to apply the rule, the definition of perimeter into this rectangle, you will recall I said that the perimeter of a shape is the distance round the shape. Now we're having a shape here. Now the distance round this given shape is considered the perimeter. Now let's say we are starting from here. You move from here to here. You just cover the length. You move this way. Cover the breadth or the width. You move this way. Cover the second length, and you move this way. You cover the other breadth or width. So you have gone through the shape, a rectangle. You have moved around the shape at the edges. At the edges, you move around the shape. So that what you've done is a perimeter. You have covered the perimeter of this shape, rectangular shape. Now the mathematical formula is this way: perimeter equals length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. You will see from this diagram that I drew, you moved from A to B to C to D. So A to B is one length, B to C is breadth, and C to D is another length, and D to A, where you started, is another breadth. So let's derive the formula. Let's derive the formula from this diagram. Let's advance the formula, because as it is now, the formula is for babies. These are baby formulas. What you teach primary 1. Length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. So what do we do here? If we apply the rules of algebra, inside length plus breadth plus length plus breadth, what we need to do here, we collect like terms, which is equals to length plus breadth plus breadth. Collecting like terms, it will mean all the alphabets or all the variables that are represented by these letters, we put them on one side. Length and length on one side, breadth and breadth on one side. Now, from the rules of algebra, we know that length plus length will give us 2 lengths. That's L plus L will give us 2L. The same thing, we'll write A plus A, which will give us 2A. So if we have 2 lengths, we'll now say 2 lengths plus 2 breadths. If you look at it critically, you'll discover there's something common in the right hand side and also in the left hand side. Right hand side and left hand side. The right hand side of the plus and the left hand side of the plus. There's something called, what's common there? The number 2 is common. Since 2 is common, so we'll bring it aside. We'll bring it to, we'll draw a bracket, now write length plus breadth. So this is the formula for perimeter of a rectangle. The formula of a perimeter of a rectangle. Alright, so now you know the formula of a rectangle. The formula, that's the perimeter of a rectangle. The formula which says is the perimeter of a rectangle, which is 2 bracket length plus breadth. You can work with this, you can also work with this. This is for kids and this is for advanced learners. This is for beginners learners and this for advanced learners. At least on your level. Then we'll go higher level, we increase it. Alright, thank you.